Attention Austin musicians and music industry professionals. Are you having a difficult time navigating these tricky waters? Well, the Austin Music Foundation is here to help you. The Austin Music Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to strengthening and connecting the local music community with innovative programs that empower musicians, music industry professionals, and music businesses within Austin's creative economy. With expert panels, consultations, mentoring, and mixers, AMF's programs provide the necessary tools and opportunities to help the Austin music industry succeed. Now look, ever since COVID took over last year, everything's moved online. The consultations are online. They're at no cost to the artist or to the music industry professional. Just go to austinmusicfoundation.org. That's austinmusicfoundation.org to find out how they can help you. Austin Music Foundation is here to help. Let's get down. Hey gang, do you find yourself listening to your music on one app and then listening to your podcast on another app? If you do, stop this insane behavior right now and download Spotify. Spotify is home to all of your favorite music and all of your favorite podcasts. Podcasts including Fly on the Wall, the Saturday Night Live podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade, the Rock on Tours podcast with Gary Kemp and Guy Pratt, old favorites like Fresh Air, My Favorite Murder, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Look, if you're looking for a news podcast or sports or entertainment or true crime, look, if you're looking for a sewing podcast or an RV podcast, Spotify has all of this for you. That's Spotify. All of your favorite music and all of your favorite podcasts in one place. Find it in your app store and start listening today. That's Spotify, music and podcasts. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here are your hosts,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny, I'm your host. Welcome to the show, a special Wednesday edition of How Did I Get Here, as we are dropping 3 shows this week. I want to thank everyone who reached out to say some kind words about my conversation with Doug Cosmo Clifford, legendary drummer and founding member of Creedence Clearwater Revival. That was the last show that came out, episode 1213, came out on Monday. Thank you so much. I had a great time talking to the dude. A lot of people, it looks like they went and watched that new Netflix documentary, and then they listened to the podcast, and they felt like they got the whole story. So that was good, right? So try that out. If you've watched the Netflix documentary and you haven't heard the podcast, do it. If you haven't done both, go do it, man. It's a good stuff. That documentary on Netflix is really good. It's them playing the Royal Albert Hall. Anyway, thank you for the kind words about all of that stuff. I had a great time on Sunday night singing at that John Lennon birthday tribute show. Stephen Doster and the Number 9 Orchestra sounded great. They had a couple of substitutes. Like, this is the 32nd year that they've done it. It was my 29th year of being a part of it. There's a couple years, there's like the 2 years, 2020 and 2021, that I missed. And then there's a couple of random years in the 2010s that I did not make it. But it was really wonderful getting to be a part of it again and getting to see everybody like in the band. These are all people that I've known. Some of them I've known since I was a teenager. It's really great seeing Benny Cock and Stephen Doster and all my friends Darren and Trish from Skyrocket. Randy Miller filled in on bass. He was amazing. Darren was amazing on drums. That guy really, he was happening. Lots of great singers. Kathy McCarty, Shiela, James Stevens. Great singer, man. I don't think that guy gets out very much. Trish Murphy was there lending her talents to a lot of different songs. One of them was we did an a cappella version of the song Because from Abbey Road. And I want to say it was fun. It was kind of fun, but it was just nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking. Like, we rehearsed it last Sunday. That was a little nerve-wracking because there were parts where it would fall apart because it was totally a cappella, and we're not a cappella harmony singers. We're not a barbershop quartet. We sing along with bands. So anyway, the key would drop and start getting a little funky. So I spent the week, kind of making sure that I knew my part and all that stuff. But when you get there and in the moment, and then you rehearse it a couple times at sound check, then you get up and do this a cappella song in front of all these people in the middle of this show. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking. So while it was fun and cool that we got to do that, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. I did sing a couple of other songs. I sang Glass Onion. That was fun. And Revolution. That was a lot of fun. It was just fun, man. Fun getting out there. Kept seeing all those people doing all that stuff. Had some cocktails. I was going to leave right after but I ended up staying till the very end. as you do in those situations sometimes, getting crazy. Anyway, I had a great time. I suggest that maybe if that happens again next year, you get out there and see it, because it's a lot of fun. And everyone's singing along. When I sang Revolution, everyone's, oh, Jody Denberg. That's the guy that was great. Yeah, KUTX is Jody Denberg. Speaking of KUTX, gang, okay, I have a great big show for you guys today. I have a quick, not a quick, but, a 20-minute conversation or so with my friend Nelson Aguilar from Como Las Movies, comes back on the show, and their engineer, Dylan Fisher, my buddy, that I've worked with a few times and been hanging out with for the last few years. Great, great dude. Anyway, Como Las Movies went into some sort of hibernation, during the pandemic. They just kind of like, Nelson was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll just DJ. But then all this great stuff started happening. Then they did this song, Café. Fantastic song featuring Shiela, my old friend from Austin Music Foundation, the Latin pop R&B artist, Shiela. I talked to her on this show as well. So they collaborated on this song, Café. It comes out Friday, October 14th on all the streaming services. And find Como Las Movies on Spotify. They're a fucking great band. Change the sound a little bit. There's a lot of synths in there now. It's the song kind of reminds me, Café, when it starts out, it kind of reminds me of like the soundtrack, the Giorgio Moroder soundtrack for Scarface, which, by the way, is one of my favorite soundtracks. I love this tune, Café. And the fact that they got together with Shiela and did it is fantastic. And another thing that they're doing is this Saturday, October 15th, they will be performing a few songs together. Como Las Movies featuring a special performance by Shiela at 2022 Austin City Limits Music Festival, Saturday, October 15th at 12:45 p.m. on the Honda stage. So the song comes out on Friday, October 14th, and then they perform with Shiela at the Austin City Limits Music Festival. Also, they are KUTX Artist of the Month for October. So you can tune in to KUTX and check out all the Como Las Movies stuff that they have. Enjoy my conversation with the great Nelson Aguilar coming up. And after we talk to them, I talk to Shiela, who I have known for quite a while. I've known her for about 6-7 years or so. She used to be an intern at Austin Music Foundation, and she was an aspiring pop artist at the time. And then over time, she, after the pandemic, she sort of restructured her thing and became this Latin pop R&B artist. Her songs are absolutely fantastic. She's got a brand new single out called Soltera, and there's a great music video for it. You can find her at ShielaMusic.com. Anyway, Sheila's grown into this fantastic Latin artist, and we still work together on a bunch of stuff with Austin Music Foundation, their artist development program. But I really got to sit down and listen to all of these great songs that she's putting out, including Café, her collaboration with Como Las Movies, which drops this Friday, October 14th. She's got another EP dropping called Corazón Coraza on November 11th. So go to ShielaMusic.com, follow her on all the socials, go to ComoLasMovies.com or Como Las Movies, and on Instagram or wherever it is that you follow bands, or on Spotify or whatever. And you can see them playing together this Saturday at the Austin City Limits Music Festival at 12:45 on the Honda stage. So before we talk to the amazing Shiela, who has moved to Miami and is living the Latin pop R&B dream out there, I talked to Nelson Aguilar from Como Las Movies and their engineer, the great Dylan Fisher, about this single that they did with Shiela, Café, and their upcoming ACL performance this Saturday. All right? So without further ado, this is me and Nelson and Dylan chatting it up. Let's get down. You mixed this new song, Café.
I did mix
right?
this new song.
All right.
Yeah.
Nelson, before we get into this song's really good, by the way. What did Shiela do on it? She sings on it?
She sings on it,
backing
actually.
vocals?
Yeah, that was actually she sings on the second verse.
Okay.
Yeah, like Nelson's in the A section, and then she's
right.
the B
The
section.
B section.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
see, and I call it I call that the bridge, but
Whatever you want to call it.
Who knows what these things are anymore?
Right,
the main
right.
question about all of this, the song's great, sounds great.
Yeah.
And you guys worked with Alex and Omar?
yes, initially
Like
we
all
laid,
of you guys, like a whole army of like
Yeah, man. We all went into If I Went to Studios and with Omar and Alex Vallejo, and it was fantastic. Actually, Alex Vallejo plays drums on the track.
Really?
Yes.
He doesn't play a lot of drums anymore.
He was kind
Gotta
enough
twist his arm.
Well, I had some drums that I created, on Logic or something. I had this little electronic kind of style drums, and then it occurred to me, it's like, why don't we just have him double it on acoustic? And
Right?
it was great. It was great. And he was really cool about it because I asked, and I figured I didn't know what he was going to say. I figured he'd say no, like, no, man, I'm just here to help you out and make sure you guys, put a good song together. And he goes, yeah, man, I'll do it. So. It was great.
So was the record? It was produced by all three of you guys.
It's a combination.
What's
So
going
they
on?
initially started If I Went to Studios, then COVID hit. We had a couple of personnel changes. Everything just went on a standstill. So
You
I don't
grew
know.
your hair.
And I grew my
Since
hair.
the last time you were on the show. Yeah.
Rene Chavez was singing with Como las Movies, and so he stepped away. So I just put pause on there. I just pushed pause on everything. And I wasn't really gonna play any music, and I was gonna focus on DJing. So last year, I went to Mexico City and I had a DJ gig. My drummer had convinced me, "Hey man, let's go DJ in Mexico City. Let's go hang out." And so I was like, "Okay, cool." We ended up doing that. He's like, on the trip, we're in Mexico. He goes, "Hey man, you know what? We should bring Como las Movies and his project, which is called Easy Compadre. So we should come back to Mexico sometime next year and DJ and have our bands play." I'm like, "Well, Como las Movies, we don't have a singer." And he's like, "Well, you sing." I'm like, "Man, I don't know." And he goes, "No, you do it. We'll back you up."
You sound good.
And so, well, thank you. And so here we are.
Yeah.
So I was gonna focus on just DJing and maybe writing at home, and just whenever a singer showed up, on my doorstep, then maybe I would start Como las Movies up again. And I had no idea that I'd be sitting here today with you.
No, you just put out this one song, and you haven't even put it out yet. When does it come out?
It comes out 14th.
My
it drops
birthday.
on the 14th. Oh, really?
Yeah. And you guys play the 15th?
We play the 15th at ACL Festival, which is week 2 at the Honda stage, man.
Is that your first ACL?
No, actually, I did ACL with my previous band, Maneja Beto. We played.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
So how did this come about? Because if you're underground, did you throw your name in the hat, or did they come to you?
They came to me.
Wow.
Yeah, they came to me.
Shit, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I
It's
got
a
to
good
say.
feeling. You got a lot of people coming to you. Are we allowed to say about the guy that you're doing some writing with?
I
no?
think at the moment
Okay,
we
we won't
might have
say
to hold off for a second.
Okay,
yeah.
well, there's a guy. What is Format Festival? Did you guys play that this last
That
weekend?
was the initial invitation, actually. Thanks to C3, came knocking on the door, and they were like, "Hey, would you love to have you guys at the Format Festival?" It was the inaugural one, and I was like, "Yes, let's do it." That'd be kind of, I've been to Arkansas, but I've never stayed in Arkansas. I've passed through Arkansas. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And it was great, man. The staff, everybody was fantastic. We had a great turnout, and Dylan was nice enough to go up there and do front of house for us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Nelson asked me, and had already had a vacation planned to Denver, though I was going to be gone that weekend, and I cut it short to fly out to Bentonville to mix them.
Nice.
And hang out in the festival for 3 days.
Yeah, the home of Walmart.
And House of Songs, too.
House
is
of
there
Songs,
now.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it
As
is.
well.
Yes.
That's here. All right, so that went well. That was a good festival.
It went very well.
Who all played it? Like, it was a regular kind of like the Strokes or something?
It was, we saw Nile Rodgers and Chic.
Oh, shit. No, really?
Yeah.
How was that?
That was one of the first shows we saw. It was amazing. He did some of his own stuff to open and close the set, and then just a bunch of stuff that he produced for other people in between. So, like, Let's Dance, Bowie, and Get Lucky with Daft Punk. He did some Madonna. Can't remember what else he did off the top of my head.
Yeah, I hadn't realized that he had a hand in Material Girl.
Yeah, he produced it.
I had no idea.
I was listening to an interview with him where he was saying that he didn't understand why Madonna didn't call him. Like, that record did so well. And she was like, it's like one of the only fucking people that didn't call me back. Like, Bowie, he could understand because he was always using it. But she was like, dude, we sold millions of records. You think she'd call me and be like, hey, let's do another one. Yeah. But they never did. She never did.
And also, Flaming Lips were playing.
Awesome.
Yeah, Flaming Lips. Herbie Hancock. We missed it. We had to come back.
I saw Herbie.
Oh, you got to
Jeff
see Herbie
and I
Hancock.
saw Herbie, yeah.
Yeah, Herbie Hancock played.
And Thundercat was
Thundercat.
that night, too.
Awesome
Yeah.
Thundercat. Huh?
Oh, it was amazing to see him live.
Yeah.
Like the records are great, but they just, I don't know, seeing him live is a totally different thing. Like watching a 3-piece band like just take up that much sonic space.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking great band. With this song, Cafe, you guys started recording it, you said, back before pandemic?
It was kind of at the first lull, I guess.
Is that what it was? Man, it feels like forever ago.
Yeah, it was in.
We saw each other at my last place. You were like one of the only people I saw the last day that I saw people.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you and Chris Taylor played.
March 13th.
Yeah. That was one of the last things.
It was a weird gig. Like, it was all like, there was like you and your wife and like a couple other people.
Maybe there couldn't have been more than 10 people there.
No, there wasn't. No, there was like 4 people.
So that was like just on the eve of the lockdown, wasn't it?
It was like, should we be like? I called the guy twice that day. Like,
Yeah.
Sure? Are you sure? Because it's a guarantee show, and I don't think people aren't going anywhere anymore. So anyway, yeah.
Wow,
so you started doing it. You guys started recording it together, or you did it at 512?
Yeah. So I had Dylan come on board, and we had Omar was producing, and Dylan was helping with engineering stuff. You know, because
they had a house engineer too.
They did have a house
I
engineer.
forget his name. He was great. There's a great crew
I
over
feel
there.
bad that we can't. Rich.
Almost-
I think his name was Rich.
Omar's a fun guy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those Vallejos know how to do it.
So we were. So we tracked 2 songs with drums. We had
did
Sweet
drums.
Lou. Sweet Lou came in and did some percussion. Thanks to
nice.
Alex Vallejo made that happen. So it was really awesome. And who else did we have come in? Terry Irwin.
Terry played
drummer.
drums
Yeah,
on the
he
other
came
one
in.
we worked on there.
And then we worked on there, and then Renee
Probably-
was there, and so yeah, it was.
Now,
it
is
was-
that stuff you're going to be releasing?
Yeah, eventually, yes.
Okay.
But Cafe, I thought would made more sense, you know, because again, I had no idea that I'd be working as Como las Movies this year.
Right.
And then I remember we were thinking of using the other single we were working on at the studio, and we ended up.
We had done a lot of prep work for that, and Nelson called me one day and he goes, "Let's do Cafe because I don't think I can sing this one yet."
Yeah, I wasn't feeling comfortable with it. I said, let's do Cafe.
So now you're gonna. So is your debut? Oh, your debut gig. So your debut gig as a singer was in front of thousands of people.
Actually, my debut was actually in Mexico City too.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
A good number of people actually. That was my first. So my first gig was an international gig, as they say.
Right, but you're playing festivals. So your first gigs as a singer are like these huge gigs, like ACL.
Well, I've done a couple
Format
here
Fest.
in town. We did Stubbs and
Okay.
So a couple of things. But yeah, this is going to be.
Are you feeling comfortable?
I'm excited about it, but it's it's a little nerve wracking for sure, man.
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Did you? Did you? I mean, are you able to? Does your voice hold up? I mean, are you singing wrong, or are you?
It's been
Okay.
it's been holding up so far.
Okay.
It's been holding up so far. But
That's
you know,
the one thing when you don't normally sing over a band for the amount of a set.
Yeah.
It's a whole different way of singing than.
Well, the other thing too, I got to give credit where credit's due is obviously my drummer Alfredo. You know, he was like, he said, "Man, it's gonna work out. You can do this." But then also Noel Hampton, who she's a great vocal coach. I've been seeing her for a while.
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking this very seriously.
Yeah.
And so I went to her, and she's been very helpful. Very
She's a
helpful.
great singer.
She's a fantastic singer. Man.
Great
Yeah.
person too.
Yeah, for sure. The bell sounds for sure.
Yeah. So what's that? Is Sheila's joining you guys at ACL?
She will. Actually, I invited her to perform.
Down. Sorry.
Again, keeps coming up, but Alex Vallejo again suggested that maybe have Shiela maybe join me on the vocals. I was looking for someone else to sing on the track.
Right.
And I thought, man, you know, I had some people in mind, and Alex suggested Shiela. So I said, well, you know, let me know if she's interested. So Alex sent her the demo, and he came back to us, man, she's down. And
Yeah.
and next thing you know, we just chatted today. Actually, he's talking about now we're discussing wardrobe for the performance at ACL. So
Yeah.
it's pretty funny.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
She's doing the show. I think I'm going to put these together.
Yeah.
And it'll come out next Friday. Is that cool? The day that the song comes out, the day before.
Oh,
you
that'd
guys
be
go- 'cause
fantastic,
She's performing
man.
next weekend as well too.
She's performing with us. As far as
Oh, she's not doing her own set.
she did it last year. She
Okay.
did ACL last year.
Okay.
Yeah. But she'll be performing with us. She's going to join me on Cafe.
All right,
So we'll
perfect.
make our live debut of Cafe, which will be
Sorry,
the
Dylan.
day after. Rosie.
Yeah,
So
I know.
Sweet. No, she's so sweet. Man.
Are you looking forward to seeing anyone there? Are you guys gonna see anyone? Are you running sound there? Hey,
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention Dylan again.
I'll be mixing front of house for them
Good.
for that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
what goes
I
in
haven't
on that?
really
Like,
paid-
do you do a sound check at a?
We got
at
a sound
ACL?
check at we got a sound check at Format. That was interesting though because we showed up on time and then they had a bunch of carts, so we had to park outside the gate.
course,
And they were going to
yeah.
take us in, and there's a lot of backline provided.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to spray it. Sorry. Go ahead,
There's a lot of backline provided, but
Nelson.
these, they still had
I
the
can't help it, man.
keyboards. They still had the keyboards and guitars and some drum stuff to bring in. So we were waiting on these carts, and apparently people just showed up, saw that there's a bunch of empty carts or a bunch of vacant carts here. Nobody's taking them.
Taking them
So they
for a
just
ride.
got in the carts, started driving around the festival grounds, and nobody could flag down a cart for us.
Jeez.
So
Well,
we
just-
waited about almost 40 minutes to, so we were late to sound check, but they, let us extend it a little bit.
So you save your scene on their board?
Yeah, I saved the scene on their board. There was a guy standing, they have a
Yeah.
house engineer there, and so he saves it for me. I try to, not do as much of that as possible because I don't want to be the reason something doesn't happen,
Right. Why does the left side of the whole PA not work? Hey, what button is this?
I was, I won't say the band, but there was one time years ago I was working with the band and as the monitor engineer and the front of house guy, I had a scene loaded for the show and he put it, the house engineer was like, wait for one of us to load it. And he's like, got tired of waiting, put it in, loaded it, and it just wrecked
Killed the
everything.
thing, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's cool, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a fun gig to do, I bet. And you're doing Mondays at Saxon?
Doing
You
Mondays
said?
at Saxon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I threw up some mics on stage and ran over here, and I'll be going back to, it's the BMI showcase tonight.
Oh, right, with Kimmy Rhodes.
With Kimmy Rhodes, yeah. She's been doing last month and this month residency.
I'm doing one of them.
You're doing one of them.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
I am. Yeah, she and I did a record of hers.
That's
with her,
right.
Where she did some songs of mine.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got to
And I
come to
played on
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Oh, so I missed the one last week because of Format Fest. We
Right.
weren't back in town yet, but she had the week before. Nelson was there, and the crowd was Jimmy Dale and Colin Gilmore were her
Yeah.
guests, and that was pretty great.
Yeah, those
And
guys are great.
she's amazing too.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing singer. Amazing person, too.
Yeah.
I love her. So let me ask you a question. When you become KUTX Artist of the Month, what happens? Like, what do you do?
Well, I guess
Congratulations also, by the way.
Thank you so much. I think it's unfolding as we speak. So
You get a shirt?
that would be really cool, actually. If they're listening, can I do a medium, please? Anyhow, so yeah, you get a email inviting you to be a part of, inviting you to be the Artist of the Month, and then the next thing that happened is an interview, which happened online. We just did back and forth. They can send me some questions, and apparently a couple of things will come up as far as features
Sure.
throughout the month. And I know there's from what I've seen with other artists, and again, all the information I've had right now is just that I'm Artist of the Month, and then like I said, it's unfolding. I guess I'll get some phone call, probably emails.
Emails. Yeah, I just
Emails.
meant like I didn't know if you get like a free dinner at ZD House or something. You know what I mean? Like you never know what that stuff
Well,
is.
yeah. So I'm not sure what's coming, but I'm excited about it, man. It's really cool. Like especially when like a station like that that just really supports music, and you get to be a part of that because we all work towards that. And to get that kind of recognition is fun. It's really really cool, man.
Yeah, and
I'm excited
also
about it.
like to think that you're getting all this recognition and sort of all of this stuff is this ball is rolling when you were like, oh, okay, well, we don't have a singer, I'm not going to do anything, and then all of a sudden, like, boom.
It's isn't that how it usually works?
Yeah.
Apparently, when you're not looking for it, and it kind of just
Yeah,
falls on your lap, and again, if it wasn't, like I said, if it wasn't for me, maybe just taking a break, maybe that's what I needed, man. I don't know, just a break, and I guess the music gods decided, nah, we're not done with you yet.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. What do you think it is, Dylan? I mean,
What do I think of?
what do you think it is that this sudden success happened? Like, just this, it's not
it
like
does-
you're
it
like
does
you know.
seem sudden, but I will say that the year prior to the pandemic, there was a lot of things going for Como
Yeah,
Lost Movies.
there was.
The Tiny Desk concert stop in Austin and Blues on the Green.
Oh right.
And so there's a lot. You guys had a lot working for you, and I think that because everybody took some time off, even though you were slow to get back to playing again and making music again, it kind of, I guess, was leveled the field a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
it was okay that you'd stepped away for a little while.
Yeah.
Made it easier to come back.
Yeah, and I think, there's definitely a lot of love, I think, for Latin music at this point. And obviously, we have our version of it. There's traditional sounding. What we do, I think there's a lot more love for it. I mean, you think of some of the artists that are going to be appearing. You got Leslie Reynada's going to be there, Lida Pimienta. I mean, a bunch of great
And
artists.
this especially Cafe, like it starts out with like the synth pad.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new. That's one thing I do have to say for all of the Latin artists here in Austin. Like everybody has their own sound. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I had this thing where I had a few that I could name who they were in the scene, and I can't remember who all they were except for Nemegata.
Nemegata,
is
yeah.
the Rush.
Amazing, yeah.
Is the Rush of the Austin Latin music.
You know, that's actually really good. Yeah, they are.
It's like
Yeah,
the Three
yeah.
Please, they play weird music.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
man.
they're great.
Actually, I DJ'd at Try Hard Coffee on Saturday, and I was grabbing a bunch of vinyl the night before, and I had bought a 7-inch of theirs from one of their first releases a few years ago. And man, it was great to play that stuff. It was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, man, that's right. The Rush thing is I think it's so important. Man. That's a really, really good.
It was Beto Martinez that I was having that conversation.
Oh, yeah,
with.
yeah,
We
yeah.
were going back and forth, and when I said Nemegata was the Rush,
Yeah.
he couldn't stop laughing because I was like, they really are. They're like the Rush of the Austin Latin music scene. Sheila's great.
Yeah.
She's a great.
You just
art-
interviewed her recently, didn't you?
No. She will be on.
She will be on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Because she's
Yeah.
she's also coming in.
She's never done the show, and we've been friends for a long time.
Oh,
Yeah, cool. I'm excited about it. I'm glad that she's doing stuff with you. She's a really she's an up and coming artist, like going for it.
for sure, man.
Yeah.
I just her stuff is amazing, and her latest single is really great too.
When will you be dropping the other singles? Do you know yet?
Not yet, man. Not yet. I'm just trying to figure that out because what I want to do is just go back into the studio and with Dylan and maybe put an EP out. I'd get a batch of songs. I have a whole bunch of songs that I just need to work on.
Yeah, it'd be good to capitalize on some of this momentum.
For sure, man. Yeah. But
You've done a lot of singles, so it'd be good to put out a collection again.
yeah,
too,
I mean, a collection would be really nice, man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking an EP for now, but we'll see. But that's the plan. That's the plan. I really had no intentions, man. I was like, I'm going to focus on this music selector thing. This will be kind of fun, and it is a lot of fun. But this is a lot more fun.
Yeah,
This is
I need
way
to come
more
see
fun.
you guys. I'm not going to be in town on the 15th, but I think I'll be at ACL on the 16th.
Cool.
Cafe is the single. This will be dropping October 14th, so it's out today. Get out to all your streaming services and find out Como las Movies featuring Shiela with all these great people worked on it. Alex and Omar Vallejo, and of course our lovely guest, one of my favorite dudes, Dylan Fisher.
Thank you.
Dylan Fisher. That's the way I say it. Dude, great luck. Best of luck. And have a great show, and congratulations on everything. And have a great ACL. And everyone get out there and check out Cafe.
Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah. What time do you play on the 15th?
12:45 to
Ooh.
1:30.
Oh, that's cool. You got the rest of the day to just run
Yeah.
around.
So come start your day with the Cumbia dance party.
Yeah, baby. That's the way you do it. All right, great having you guys on.
Thank you for having us.
That was Nelson Aguilar from Como las Movies and Dylan Fisher, their engineer. Fantastic dudes. My bros. It was great getting to talk to them. Get out there this Saturday, October 15th, and see them with a special performance by my next guest, Shiela, at ACL Music Festival, Saturday, October 15th, 12:45 p.m. on the Honda stage. And get the single, Cafe, this Friday, wherever it is you stream and download your music. I want to thank Nelson and Dylan for coming on the show. Sorry for being so weird. All right, so next up, I talked to my old friend Shiela. What a great artist. Now, she has moved to Miami, and she was here for the week because she's doing this ACL thing, and she worked with Quentin and the Past Lives. But she actually played Austin City Limits Music Festival last year. had her own show, and she's very excited to be performing some songs with Como Las Movies this Saturday at the Austin City Limits Music Festival. But we talk about her move to Miami, her choice of getting into her Spanish roots and writing music that's both in Spanish and in English and Spanglish. There's songs that it drifts in between. This great song Soltera, which is her latest single that's out right now, and it has a fantastic video where she goes from she goes from janitor to dominatrix and back to janitor. But it's interesting because I've known Shiela since she was like 20 or so. And she was a young girl. She had braces. So when I saw this video, I was a little taken aback. I was like, oh, God, man. Turned red a little bit. She's been doing some great TikTok videos. They're really funny, revealing, honest, very playful. She was nominated for Best Latin Artist at the Austin Music Awards this last year. She played South by Southwest this last year, 2022. And she's performing with Como Las Movies this Saturday, October 15th, the 12:45 on the Honda stage with the band Como Las Movies. And their single Café drops on Friday. Anyway, Shiela and I have a great conversation about her journey in music, about what's inspired her to make music, how she makes this music, what made her move to Miami, how it's been going in Miami, and playing all these big shows that she gets to play. You can find her at ShielaMusic.com. She's absolutely enchanting. I love talking to her. I love hanging out with her. She's always been a real go-getter and like a real self-starter. I know that's weird to say, but when you work with someone on a different level than just interviewing them, you notice what kind of people they are. And I've always thought that she's really, really cool. And going through her music like I have through over the last couple of days has really been inspiring, and I'm really proud of her. I'm glad to know her. I'm glad to have been around and watched her grow. So without further ado, this is my friend Shiela. Let's get down.
Stop being pendeja. Look at me. I was married for 20 damn years. I already told you. You have to have 2 or 3 or 4 boyfriends.
Soltera mi manera, sin pena mi manera, soltera mi manera, sin pena no me da. Plata, plomo, like it when I ride to the top and I go slow. Enfocada en mi plata, plomo, I might let you hit it from behind with the chokehold. Stone cold killer, you ain't gotta worry about me. I carry my own peace if I want
So,
to.
all right. So you did ACL last year, and you're doing it again this year, but with Como Las Movies.
Yes.
You're featured.
Yes.
How is that going to work?
We'll be doing a couple of songs together. So
Okay.
we have our song Café coming
Which drops
out.
on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's already happening.
I know.
I feel like time has been going by extremely fast.
Extremely fast.
But yeah, that comes out Friday, and then we perform it for the first time live at ACL on Saturday.
How exciting.
Yeah.
And so that's happening at the Honda stage at 12:45.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure that everything's right. That's Saturday, October 15th. And the song drops Friday, October 14th. So it gives you a chance to listen to it and familiarize yourself. So
Yeah.
you went this last weekend?
Yes, I was there this last weekend. I was working with the Past Lives, so I was handling some of their content.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
I saw some of the video of their shows. It's so great, man. Quentin's so amazing.
Amazing.
Now, did you guys do some kind of collaboration last year? in
Yes,
some way?
Quentin was my choreographer.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And was Grace Sorensen one of your dancers?
She was my backup singer. One
Your
of my backup
backup
singers.
singer, okay.
Yeah. So Grace and Ronnie were both my backup singers. And then Quentin choreographed. Quentin's dancer this year, Triton, he also co-choreographed my show last year.
Okay.
So it's all in the family.
It's all in the family.
Yeah.
Was Quentin's shows packed? Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we had a good crowd. I was super excited, and I was able to catch their rehearsal the day before. And I was so grateful that I had done that because I hadn't seen him in so long, or them. And it was just nice. It was nice, like, it's nice seeing it go from rehearsal to on stage with the outfits and the energy and the crowd.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because there's this sense of community that happens. Mm-hmm. And when people take different... I mean, you're a singer, you're a front person, a performer. You had your own show last year. And you've really, like, grown into such a... I want to talk about all this stuff because even in that video for Soltera, I was like... You know, like when I met you, like you had braces, and you were just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh my God, now she's a dominatrix. What's going on? Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anyway, the sense of community thing that I was going to say is like, there's this thing like there was this thing in like independent movies in the 90s where guys would direct a movie, but then, you know, produce their buddy's movie that was the key grip on their move. You know what I mean? Like just kind of like whatever you need me to do, I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I'm the front person of my own thing and my own entity as an artist, I'll do your social media for the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's like that. I was just like, let me know whatever you need help with, you know, and I'll be there because you helped me, and I love you, and I want to be there for you too. And it was a beautiful, really beautiful moment to be able to share that with them, because Quentin and I actually met 3 years ago at ACL before, or actually no, maybe 4 years now. We met at ACL pre-pandemic, 2019,
Okay.
randomly, just like backstage. And there was an energy there, and we hit it off, but we didn't really maintain any kind of contact after that. And then when when I was working on the La Di Da video with my friend Rebecca, she was like, we should add dance. And I was like, yeah, we should add dance because it's very, like, you know, Spanish. And that's when she was like, oh, I know somebody that I'm working on a film with. And it was Quentin. And so then we started working together there and ended up just, like, talking for 3 hours about our whole lives. And, yeah, that's just where it started blossoming. So.
Yeah. He's really amazing. It's amazing to see his level of growth just in the last year.
Incredible.
You know?
Incredible.
It seems like even like right before we started doing stuff in the artist development program, then there was like he has so many ideas that I feel like it was hindering him. And then I feel like over the last year, he's really found a way to hone and focus, and that's really paid off for him.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job at listening to Anar and you and the whole ADP program, because they really did appreciate that guidance that you guys offer, and that structure, because Quentin's a theater kid. You know, so they want that structure, they want that character, and I think they did feel a little lost at the beginning of what exactly it was going to turn out to be.
Well, yeah, and he was kind of venturing into rock and roll, and I know that that's a little bit different than the pop world. With rock and roll, there's like an unbridled insanity, like that's what you're kind of going for. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Everything's off the hook, and you know. Yeah. And crazy, but you got to kind of know what you're doing going into it.
Yeah. That's one thing I really admire about their project. It's like, I think we both look at each other's projects and we're like, man, like, I wish I could do that. But also I have my own thing, you know?
You do have your own thing, and you've had it for a while now.
Yeah.
When did you work at Austin Music Foundation?
When I interned?
Yeah.
Oh, that was probably
2016 or something?
2016, 2017.
And you were starting to put stuff out then even, right?
Yeah, that was like my first little project that's not even available.
That's what I was going to ask. You got rid of all that stuff. Yeah.
My mom is always like, why did you put it down? I want to listen to it. It was good. I'm like, it's not on the level of what I'm doing now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, Anar and I have that conversation all the time where we're so grateful that we came up in the time that we did, because all the stuff that we did was on some kind of cassette in the late 80s or early 90s, and no one can hear it anymore. So, yeah, like.
But you get the feeling, though, you know? You're like, oh, God, this is so trash, you know, compared to what I'm doing now.
I think I would freak out if, like, my stuff from that, I mean, it would be really embarrassing.
Yeah. So, you know, once we reached a certain level of quality, I kind of made that threshold and was like, okay, this is my standard now, and then it's only going to go up from here.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Mom.
There's a lot to cover here, and I've been trying to figure out all day, like a linear way to have this conversation.
Yeah.
So you lived here, but you moved to Miami recently.
Yes.
This year.
Yes, in February.
Okay. And I think, and anybody who listens to your music or goes and hears your music, that's probably a much better place for you to be professionally than Austin. Unfortunately, just because Austin isn't about
Latin pop as much.
Well, it's not as much about pop, because I mean, if you're going to be around pop and you're going to do what you're trying to do, you need to be around. Like, I just realized that, God, what's the place in the Grove? I drove by there when I was there the other day. The Mayfair. You know what I'm talking about?
It's a venue, no?
No. It used to
Miami.
be a really upscale mall with like Gucci and Versace and stores like that.
I've been to Coconut Grove, but I don't think I've been to Mayfair.
I saw Sony Music's offices are there now.
Okay.
When I was driving by, but that's where you need to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Sony Music Latin is there. I saw some a BMI office there. Universal Music Latin, like everything. There's a bunch of Warner people.
Yeah, I mean,
the industry is just there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Especially with the music that you're doing, specifically to your music.
Yeah, specifically.
Now, when you first started, there wasn't any Spanish. I mean, I remember that stuff, and I don't remember it leaning into any Latin stuff at all. Like when you first started out.
Oh no, it was very heavy R&B. It was like kind of my soft R&B, a little bit of pop, but very moody. And all of that. And no, I was scared to write in Spanish for a while because it's not my first language. And they'll pick you apart, you know, like Selena. You got to be more Mexican than the Mexicans and more American than the Americans. And
I mean, they did pick her apart, but she did okay with that. I do know that she didn't know Spanish.
She didn't know Spanish, and I knew some. And yeah, I was just scared. And then after a couple of years, my family was like, ¿por qué no hablas, por qué no escribes en español? Why don't you write in Spanish? Why don't you sing in Spanish? And I'm like, guys. And so then I started leaning into it a little bit more. And I would really just lean heavy on my Spanish-speaking, like native-speaking friends to spell check, to like check my stuff and be like, hey, is this right? Because there's so many different, like Spanish is a language where you have to have the context of the sentence to know what kind of conjugation the word is supposed to be in.
Right, exactly.
And so it's hard for me sometimes to like natively think of a lyric and write that way.
Right, and there's a way that I had this problem because when there was one point I had to do everything in Spanish as well on a record that I did. They just wanted to be they were like, dude, if you can sing in fucking Mandarin Chinese, we'd have you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want to sell records, like sing in Spanish.
Yeah.
And so rewriting lyrics as an American guy in his 20s and early 30s that speaks in like a hip thing, it was hard to translate,
Yeah, and that too, the hip, like you can write in Spanish, but that doesn't automatically mean that you have the slang that a native speaker would have, or like the dialect or any of those little. Like, it's harder to play on words the way that you want to.
Exactly.
So.
And the command that we have, because I've spoken Spanish my whole life, too. I wanted to say something, because I get the same thing from my family about, like, ¿por qué no cantas en español?
Yeah.
¿Escribe algo en español?
Yeah, like, estás avergonzado,
but
it's ashamed.
It's almost like a betrayal. Yeah, like you're betraying the whole thing.
They get you.
And like they're like, everyone will like you so much more because you know what I mean. Like, can I tell you a really funny story? So I remember. So I've been friends with the Vallejos for a long time.
Oh, I love them. Yeah.
And so I remember like around the time of they had a deal with somebody, and my band was trying to get a deal with somebody. And they used to always say to me, hey, don't you know somebody in Miami that knows the Estefans? Like, that's all you need. Like, that was all you needed.
Yeah.
You just need to know an Estefan and you'll be huge, right? So that's Gloria and Emilio Estefan, Miami Sound Machine people, in case you're listening and you're like, who are these people?
Yeah.
So they used to basically run the Latin music industry.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Like, at that time, the late 90s.
I mean, they're still huge names,
Yeah. But at one point, they basically ran the whole thing. So eventually, I got signed to Lars Ulrich from Metallica's label, which was pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, my grandma wasn't hearing of it because an article came out in Houston that the Vallejos got signed to Crescent Moon, and like Alex had been like Thanksgiving a couple times, and they knew AJ, and they were like, oh, wait, what? What did we tell you to do? Like,
how does your friend get this and not you?
Exactly. So, all right, so you
amazing.
moved. So you decided to start writing in Spanish,
yes.
And did that happen during the pandemic? Because it seems like all of this stuff is like 2021 and on.
I think it happened before, but it was released around that time. I think it was already happening a little bit in 2019. I had my little track, Desayuno, that I wrote with one of my best friends, Rigo Navaira.
That's the last song on the Chilita album. That's a great record. I have a favorite song of yours, On the Low.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I don't understand why that song wouldn't be like the biggest song. That's like the most...
It's like wavy, right?
Chorus
yeah.
I've ever, like, the most smash hit chorus I've heard from somebody in a long time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's favorites. A lot of people like On the Low, Happy Pockets, Oz is a favorite.
Yeah, Oz is really good too.
Yeah. But I remember when, like, On the Low, when we were changing up the choreography for the Stubbs show, and we added the chair dance. And It was like crazy. It was crazy. It was so fun.
Wait a minute, what kind of chair dance did you do?
It's like almost like a lap dance on a chair, and it's like me.
Like flash dance?
Yeah.
When the girl does the chair?
Yeah, and then it's me and my two girl dancers. All three of us have chairs, and we're just like, da 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 da. You know, like just making the moves.
Yeah.
And there's actually a funny story about that too. So we performed that live at South by this year. We did the chair thing, and I had like these mesh pants on with like a bodysuit underneath. And so there's at one point where like I'm facing away from the crowd, and you can see, you know, and
the nalgas
and the pompis. And my mom is like front row,
oh my
right?
God.
And then there's this guy next to her. I forget who it was. And he just like looks at her, and he's like, "Oh my God, like that's so nice." And she's like,
oh, and he doesn't know that's your mom.
He doesn't
oh
no
my
idea
God.
that's
Yeah.
And she tells the story. Oh my God. She's like, do I react right now? Do I just, you know, play it cool? And she's like, I'm going to just play it cool because he doesn't know who I am. She's like, yeah, right. You know, that's great.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is that with all this stuff, though, there's a naturalness to it because there's English and there's Spanish, and then there's like straight up like Spanglish, like half of a lyric is in English and the other half is in Spanish, which is the way that we all talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like most of us do speak that way. And I think that comes more naturally to me. So whenever I first started writing in Spanish, it was more of that like Spanglish with desayuno. And then I think the first song I wrote completely in Spanish was La Dida. And that was a lot of fun. That was like more of a manifestation song for myself of what I wanted to, where I wanted to be, like what I wanted to feel like. I wanted to be on a beach, you know, knowing that like my rate had doubled because I'd accomplished all these things and I'm enjoying my life with my friends, having drinks, and like my whole team is around me and we're just doing well. Like, and we're supporting ourselves and we're supporting our families and we're good. You know?
There's a real aspirational quality to your music, but also even to your brand. Like I watched a whole lot of TikTok videos.
Oh God. Oh yeah, I'm a fool on TikTok sometimes. I just like to play around.
Well, you do. I mean, there's a lot of like there's funny ones, and then there's like ones where you are like, hey, I got to try and get this together and do. You know what I mean? Like inspirational and aspirational as well.
Yeah, I think that's a lot just like in who I am and what I stand for. So I like to divide. I think it just comes naturally that my content is kind of like part inspirational, motivational, part funny, part, you know, emotional. So I just always want to be able to use my platform to inspire others and motivate others to know that they can do it too.
Right.
So
who are your inspirations? Like who inspires you?
Like in my daily life or musically or
both? Musically first. Tell us musically.
Musically, I mean, growing up, Selena was my inspiration. I remember watching the movie for the first time because when I was young, she had already passed. But my mom grew up going to her shows and was a huge fan. And just the fact that she was at Tejana doing it, who also, her first language, like we spoke about, wasn't Spanish. And she crossed over, you know, crossed boundaries nationally, internationally, and also just broke into this industry of Tejano music, which was super dominated by men at the time. And I don't know, I really identified with that story. And that's where I felt like the little seed, you know, of that dream started within me. But for a long time, I was like, oh, well, everyone probably feels this way. You know, everyone probably is like, I want to be Selena, and I want to sing, and I want to do these things, and I can do it. And for a long time, I told myself, like, you're just like everybody else, you know, like, everyone has this, that's not special. You should do something else. And then finally, when I was like 19, I think I had a coming of age moment where I was like, no, I'm going to actually try to do this, because if not, then I'm going to regret it.
How did you try then? What was the first step? Because that's a tough thing. Because there's like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah, especially because the music industry is so elusive. Like,
and it's also changing every day.
Yeah.
Like you've come up in an industry that is not like oh, you just do this and then you do this and then
No.
and then this happens. It's like you do this, you do this. Oh, wait, hold on. Everything changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend and I were talking about this last night, how like, do you need a label deal now? Like, you don't really need that anymore. There's so many different like hybrids of deals and agreements and representation that exist now. But I think, yeah, before I didn't know anything about the industry and I didn't know how to get in, really.
How did you start making music, though? Like, how did the artist part happen?
Well, that was actually funny because I used to work as a server at the UT Club, like inside the stadium when I was
Okay.
going to college there.
It's where
And-
really rich old Texas people hang out.
Yeah, and I was like serving them food and wine and shit. And one of the chefs, he was like this super cool, super nice dude, like tall, tatted, like looked really scary, but was a huge teddy bear. And one day he told me, "Hey Sheila, like my brother Victor, he's getting a little bit more serious about engineering and producing. I think maybe you guys should do something if you're into music." I would just sing while I was working all the time. I hadn't even really written anything. And so I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And that's when I met Victor Gaspar, who produced my first EP, produced this upcoming project that's going to be released soon.
Corazón Coraza.
Corazón Coraza, yeah. And yeah, I just kind of went from there. And my first time in the studio, I was like so embarrassed and shy. And I'm pretty sure I just like whispered into the mic and made him like, it was like his bedroom studio, in his apartment. And I was like sitting behind him while he was at the desk working on the computer. And I was just like, stay turned around. I was like, don't look at me. Don't even like, just imagine I'm not here.
Did you find yourself acting out when you were singing the songs, or do you
like acting out the emotions that the song
yeah, like
was
some people
conveying?
give it.
Yeah.
Some people physically go for it in the studio. Some people don't.
I think a little bit, yeah. I was definitely more shy back then, but now I do more so. I like recording in the studio. I used to be really like scared of performing, and I only wanted to stay in the studio.
Yeah.
It took a lot of me like pushing myself to be like, okay, you have to do this, especially in Austin. Like, you have to play the game. You have to make a live show that's worth coming to see.
Right.
So
That's always hard to do. It's also hard to do in the style of music that you do, where so much of it is like sampled sounds and all this kind of stuff. To translate that to a club PA system is just like, there's only, you know what I'm saying? I've
Yeah.
always thought like that's one of the reasons why it's difficult to be like, to be Primo the Alien here, to be, Dossie here, to be you here. Like, this isn't an easy
yeah, it's not set up for
vibe
that.
because it's not set up for that. It's set up for dudes to show up 30 minutes before their gig, plug in their amps and drums, and don't. Oh,
Yep.
check. All right, let's go.
We're good, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that took a lot of tweaking and figuring out. And thankfully, I met another friend of mine, Nick Colbert, early on. I think maybe within a year of meeting Victor. And we ended up making Happy Pockets together and Dismissed. And he also had just this huge, like, live experience in terms of, like, he just knows how to run audio and how to do all the stuff that I didn't have the capacity to like learn at the
Right,
time because I was
right.
trying to do everything else. And so he's been instrumental in like, okay, how are we going to set up this, live gig with you and a DJ? Okay, now you have a band. How are we going to do that? Okay, now we don't have a band anymore. Or now we're trying to do a band and dancers. How do we make that work with the tracks versus the live instruments? And then, okay, now we don't have a band anymore. We have just dancers. So it's going to be just tracks, but we have backup singers. Okay, so let's take out these.
Yeah.
He's been all of that. And I could not have done this without him, honestly.
And he's still working with you?
Yeah. I was just with him last night. He's going to be with us at ACL.
Awesome.
He's my right-hand man.
Yeah. That's okay. So I'm still trying to figure out the line of questioning that I have.
That's
for you in
fine. I
my
feel like
mind
it's just
because
kind of
Yeah, it
flowing.
is flowing.
Yeah.
But I don't want to miss some stuff. So as far as creatively, that first thing that you did with the guy's brother from the Longhorn Club or whatever that is,
UT Club.
white people's self-congratulatory place to hang out in the AC while the working man sweats out watching the game.
I know. I used to work the suites during the games too, and it was nice. because you got AC and you were inside. And one time, like, my suite was right next to Matthew McConaughey's suite.
Oh, yeah.
And so they have like the glass walls towards the front of the room. And I like looked over and I saw Matthew McConaughey. I'll never forget it. I saw him like this, just leaned up against the wall. And I was like, oh, God, he's so beautiful.
It's funny how people have that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like being in the room with somebody that's really famous, there's something coming off, like they radiate
Yeah.
beauty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some kind of machine you go through. All right, so so when you were making that music, like who all are you like who did you do Soltera with? Like,
Oh, Soltera, that is my first project with the guys at Campin Studios here in Austin.
Okay.
So that started this year during South by. I met Par and I met Short. And Par is like, he goes by Echale Par. He's an amazing producer. They're both from Monterrey. They're brothers, and they just opened their studio, Campin Studios, here in Austin, off Chicon. And I saw his brother Short Life. He's like a Latin trap alternative rapper. And he was performing, I think it was at Revival Coffee's official South by Southwest 2022 showcase.
okay.
And so I remember seeing him perform for the first time, and I was like, oh, this guy's got it. Like, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And he had the crowd going too, and he just has this whole look, like, he looks like he looks like an avatar almost, because like he has like these two blue stripes tatted on his face, and it's kind of like that thing, you know, like there's no going back now, like you're an artist when you tat your face or you tat your neck. And so but just like the level of emotion behind his songs, I love it. And
Yeah,
he's so
yeah.
young. Both of them are young. I think Short is like 21 and Par is like 23 or something.
Is that why? Sorry to go.
No.
That's why people tattoo their faces, to be like, okay, that's it. I'm committed. I can't be like a.
I mean, I can't speak to, I mean, I don't have my face tatted, so I can't speak to exactly why, but
You have tattoos?
I do. I have like 4 or 5, but not on my face. My dad would fucking murder me.
I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I have a couple of tattoos, but they're
Yeah.
not like wild or anything.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've heard that in different interviews though. Like when people tat their face or they tat their neck,
That's it. I'm committed.
It's part of why, like, how they like just get themselves to commit even more. I don't know if that's exactly why Short did it, but I'm gonna ask him. But yeah, so that Soltera is produced by Par, and Short helped me co-write a little bit of it, and it was fun.
So tell me, okay, that's what I'm trying to get at, because I
Yeah.
saw some videos of you, or some videos of you playing guitar and singing just really beautiful shit. I don't know if you were just making it up, but there was a beautiful
Aw.
song where you were, I can't even remember what the chords were, but I was going to ask you what that was, because that was a great song.
Which one?
I don't know. It's a more recent one. In your
oh, like-
TikTok, and you're sitting, and it
Oh.
goes like ring, and then you sing a thing.
Oh,
and then
me very
ring,
like
sing
struggling
a thing.
to play guitar.
Yeah.
I was trying to pick my guitar back up this year because I haven't played it in a long time. Pero that was a cover of Givion's song.
Oh,
It's like, I'm not looking for the one.
Yeah,
Maybe, but
exactly.
tonight
That's it.
I'm having fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm done because I always get high. Yeah. I was like, I'm feeling this right now. So I just learned it and tried to practice. But
so do you, when you write these songs, do you come up with the chords and the melody and the words,
Mm-hmm.
and then you play that for somebody and you tell them some kind of idea, like I'd love this to be in this kind of way or whatever?
I feel like it happens a variety of ways. And I've heard this echoed like in different interviews that I've watched as well. It's like it'll either start with me having the melody and the line, or like a semblance of some lyrics, and then taking that idea to a producer, possibly with some guitar underneath or piano, whatever. Or it'll be the producer that comes with a skeleton of a beat.
Right.
And then I'm like, ooh, I like this. I'm
Yeah.
going to jump on this.
Yeah.
And then it's a lot easier for me to kind of flow with it. So eventually I would like to learn how to produce, just for my own like creativity and exploration. And
Yeah.
I think it would help get a lot more ideas free flowing.
Yeah. And it also like empowers you more as an artist. Like you're the person. And I feel like you're kind of at that point now where it's,
Yeah, where I need to.
well, no. It's just I think you can do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I think you could. At least it's what it seems. There's such a command, in your performances and stuff that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like you're very in control and very strong as a singer, and your performances on those records are all like, professional. Not that they weren't before, but when you meet somebody that's an intern AMF with braces, and then like all of a sudden, as I said, that Soltera video, that's a great video.
Thank you.
I thought, I like that you're the janitor lady, and then you have this fantasy about being a dominatrix.
Yeah.
But it's funny because then I don't know anything about you on that level. Like, I think we're friends, but I don't know what, like, do you date people?
No, we haven't really gone out for drinks or anything. We should sometime.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not asking you out. I'm just saying, like, in your personal life, do you? No, I know you met his friends. I didn't mean to make that weird.
I was like, no, not like that. I just meant to like have a beer.
Yeah, totally.
No. So, I mean, I'm single right now, dating, kind of, not really.
It's not easy for a woman to have ambition and drive, and be the focus of the room when they're in it, and have a relationship. That's what I've noticed in my many years of doing this, and all my female musician friends.
Really?
Is like guys, they're beating ladies off after the show, and ladies are like alone in a corner, like is.
Yeah. Well, glad to know I'm not the
anyone
only
have
one.
a sandwich? Yeah, I mean, I've been in a band with a lot of different women, and unless it's just totally like some kind of pervy creep.
I think it takes I don't think that I necessarily have difficulty with being in a relationship, but I think it's difficult for a lot of men.
It is.
To want or to be able to take that on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a lot. Like,
socially, you're in a backseat situation.
Yeah.
When you go out somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not the focus.
You're not the focus.
star.
No.
I'm not the rock star's girlfriend. I'm the rock star.
Yeah. They're the rock star's boyfriend.
Yeah, they're the rock star's boyfriend, and the reason that it's easier for men to do it is because
those roles are there.
Yeah, that's
traditional.
They're really traditionally there and established. So,
especially in our culture, in the Latino culture, I mean, it is like.
Yeah.
I remember my grandma. I mean, it was the 80s, but my grandma got mad because one of my aunts was smoking while she was standing up outside. Like, whoa! Like, ladies sit down. They cross their leg and they they don't fucking stand on a corner like a prostitute. That's what my grandma's yelling at my aunt.
So she's not even mad that they're smoking.
Tú ni sabes lo que eso es como una prostituta. Una puta allá afuera fumando en la calle.
Oh
Ordinaria. Yeah, like she freaked out, dude.
His Cuban just came out, y'all. His Cuban came out.
It comes out, man. That stuff. Those people are crazy, man.
They're fucking insane.
So yeah. So I mean, in our world too, traditionally, like, were your parents shocked that you wanted to be the
No.
boss lady?
I don't think so. Honestly, I've been blessed. Like, my parents aren't perfect. I love them so much. They did, the best they could raising me, and I think being raised by a single mom, she was happy when I decided to do this. She's been encouraging me the entire way as much as she can. And I'm so grateful because a lot of artists, their parents don't believe in them or don't support them.
No.
And I don't know if I'd be here today if I already struggled so much with believing in myself, trying to do this journey from the girl, with braces until now.
Well, you still, I mean, it's an ongoing struggle that people, I don't know if they understand it. Never, I mean, Paul McCartney woke up probably today with some kind of anxiety about something he has to do that he thinks he's going to fail at.
Yeah. Or at Billboard, Cheyenne was talking to us, Billboard Latin Music Week in Miami. I was just there last week. And Cheyenne was doing an interview, and he hasn't done an interview or released music in something like 3 years. And so he was talking to Leila Cobo, and he was like, yeah, I mean, you guys make me nervous. Like, this is my first interview, and I'm performing for the first time at Billboard, in years. And yeah, I get really nervous. And I was like, wow, this is a superstar, star on top of stars, who's done the whole thing, and he still feels this way. And it felt like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I still get I get anxious. I get nervous. I get uncomfortable, but but what I understand is that's because you care.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's making you do that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to train myself to be oh, it's not anxious, it's excitement.
Yeah.
Because it stems from the same place.
Right. So. And you're just about to do something and you're like, wait a minute, did I, It's like when you leave your house, did I lock the door? Did I leave the stove on? You're like, oh shit, did I remember all the words?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Before ACL last year,
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, we spent the whole year preparing for those 30 minutes. Like, and
It sucks when those 30 minutes come. It's so much nicer to be on a tour.
Oh, it was so much nicer to be with Quentin last
Yeah,
weekend
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
watching it
Oh,
all.
sure, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like totally different. Or even with Como Las Movies this week, where I'm doing like 2 or 3 songs with them versus it's my entire show.
Yeah.
Less pressure. Pero yeah, no, I remember when we got on last year, and I tell people this, and they're like, "What?" Because I tell people all the time, like, "Yeah, I blacked out on stage. Like, I just blacked out."
Yeah.
And I remember looking at the clock when there was like maybe 10, 12 minutes left, and I was thinking, I had like the split thought of like, "Wow, this entire year, and there's like 10 minutes left of what we prepared for."
Yeah.
Like it's almost over, you know.
I had that on a smaller thing. On Sunday night, I went and sang at this John Lennon thing.
Ooh.
And we did this, you know the song Because by the Beatles? Because the world is... It's like a
I think so.
3-part harmony thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we did it a cappella.
Ooh.
So this song is like not even 3 minutes, right?
Uh-huh.
It's been weeks of walking around, getting the one part off of YouTube with the guy singing it, so I learn it, and then singing it with them, singing it a cappella. Then all of us sing it. We spent like 3 hours the other day on Sunday doing it, and then we spent like 45 minutes at soundcheck was just basically us doing that song. And we get up there and do like, it's 2 minutes, and it just goes by.
But did
And
it
you're
go
like,
well?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Like, yeah. And I mean, it was sold out, and it was awesome. But those things
yeah.
always drive me crazy because I'm like, it's so uncomfortable while you're doing it. You don't even enjoy it. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
And maybe if you did it like 2 or 3 more times live, then you get to the point where you're
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And that's
those
what I
big
always
shows
wanted.
like that. You wish that you had like that way you could black out at the first one and kind of black out at the second one. By the third one, you're like, hey, this is really fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no. And so people look at me, they're like, what do you mean you blacked out? Like, did you drink? No. I was like, no, I mean like from just, you just say go and then it's just go. And you have to leave it all behind. Leave everything behind. Leave all the doubts you had. Trust that your body knows the choreography. Trust that your body knows the notes.
Yeah.
And look, like enjoy yourself as much as you can on stage because that's the energy that translates to the crowd. If the crowd sees you thinking, they're going to be thinking.
Yeah.
If the crowd sees you having a good time, they're going to have a good time.
Exactly right.
And I'm a overthinker.
Yeah.
And so, like, in rehearsals, Quentin would be like, you have to leave it all on the stage. Like, you have to just let go. You have to have fun.
Yep.
Because I see you thinking. Obviously, because I'd never done choreography before while I tried to sing.
And you do it really well. I mean, I was watching the videos and I was like, wow, that's not easy to do.
Thank you. Yeah, we decided to do that July. I think that's when we finally got the dancers together. August, September, October. Like, so we had like 3 months to prepare that whole thing. Yeah, it was intense.
So how do you prepare for something like that? Do you start off by the song, and do you start off by learning the dancing and then integrating the song, integrating your having to sing into it? Because I'm sure at first when you're doing it, it's like I can't do both at once. You have to do piece by piece. Is that like verse by verse? Do you learn it or?
Yeah, well, I was learning along the way that same way because at first I was trying to do both at the same time and I was like, I am getting nowhere.
That would be horrible. Yeah.
I'm getting
I try to
nowhere.
do that stuff.
Yeah.
I had to teach myself how to learn stuff over the last decade because I would go all at everything at once and not learn anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I think I'm Superwoman and I'm just like, you're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after I made that mistake, I started focusing solely on the choreography, and Quentin and AJ were like, hey, just learn the dance moves. Like, we can incorporate the singing later. And then on the other hand, I had my vocal coach, Ronnie, telling me, well, the dance doesn't matter if you sound bad, so you have to focus on the singing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on the singing. I'm going to focus on the dance. And then I was not only singing by myself, but singing with backup singers as well. So what you were saying about the a cappella stuff, like for the first time, I was really trying to harmonize and be very hyper aware of what they were singing as well, while I'm also doing all of this dancing. So
I'm glad that you're walking somebody through this because it's somebody that just goes to ACL and sees a 30-minute set and it's like, oh, yeah, they're good. Walks away. They don't realize that it's literally just been months, a year in preparation.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. There was like a lot of sleepless nights. A lot of times I would just like break down and cry. I think the night before I performed, I think we performed on a Saturday as well last year, and everyone was like at ACL on Friday, and I like called my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, "Can you just come over and like do face masks with me, and like watch a movie?" Because I can't go out anywhere. Like I'm so nervous, and I just need to relax. Yeah. He's like, "Yeah." So I just relaxed. So yeah, it's intense, man.
It's tough. There is sort of like you can look at the ocean and the way the waves move. Like before the wave hits the beach, it has to get back, like pull back this thing and then go.
Yeah.
And energetically, like that's you got to go deep into yourself, because tomorrow, you've got to be this version of Shiela that is like 15 feet tall, that can speak to someone 20,000 feet away and make them feel you.
Yeah.
Like that's a tall order.
Yeah. Not only that, but like also just you have to be personable with people the whole day leading up to that as well, which is like.
But you also have to conserve your energy. Yeah. And your voice and your everything.
No.
Yeah.
Conserve it, but be a leader at the same time. And like, you know, if people come up to you and want to talk to you about your show, like still be friendly, because you don't want to, you know, anyone to walk away saying, "Oh, Sheila's a bitch," or like, "Oh, Shiela, you know, was rude to me this day." So it's like a lot to balance. And I remember seeing Quentin this past weekend. There was this woman who came up to him like right before, literally like 2 minutes before he went on stage, and she was like asking to take photos, and I'm pretty sure she was from some like notable press. But in my head, I was like, man, if someone would have asked to do that of me, like. Like last year, literally 2 minutes before I was going up, I'm like, I'm praying to God right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to just focus. And they were so personable. They're like, yes, of course, we could do this. And I know that they're like me. And I know that in their head, they're just like, fuck. You know, like, this is happening. This is happening right now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. So how did you feel when you walked off stage? You didn't remember anything, but did you feel relieved? Did you ask someone if it was good? And then you were like, okay, good.
I asked everyone if it was good. Everyone, I mean, I didn't really have to ask. Everyone came up to me and was like, that was so good. You did amazing. And in my head, I was like, are you sure? I was like, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Are you sure? Like, we messed up this one part. I know. And they're like, no, I didn't even notice. I'm like, I feel like you're lying.
That's awesome.
But no, it took me a while to like maybe a couple of hours. And, and that's what made this experience last weekend so beautiful too, is because like I was walking with Quentin through it, and I could look at him and be like, you're still not completely here, right? And they're like, no, I think maybe like in another 15 minutes I'll be here. And this was like 2-3 hours afterwards. I was like, yeah, that's fine. It was the same thing with me. It was like, it was just kind of like a movie. Like things were happening around me. Yeah. And I was there, but I wasn't there.
Well, you have this dream, and you work really hard at it, and then all of a sudden you're in the position that you've been dreaming of being in, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is my zipper zipped?
Yeah, or like you're like wondering if it's supposed to feel this way. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Yeah. Am I doing it right? Am I fucking, like someone gave me a chance and I'm just ruining everything?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. But it was good.
I had my zipper was down a few years ago on stage. Oh. Sold out show, a lot of people, and it's not as bad as you think it would be.
No.
The people that noticed me zipping it up just started laughing, and it was pretty funny. Good. Because like I looked right at them, and I was like, you could see, because I could feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it like, oh, that's interesting. Seems to be a cool breeze going into my pants. That's awesome. I was like feeling it, and I'm like, oh. Zipping it up like as much, as discreetly as I can, standing in front of a room full of people.
I think that's one thing you learn. Yeah, you learn that, as you get more experience as a performer of like, okay, you're gonna mess up, you're human, but are you gonna make it, a thing, or are you gonna just go with it and allow yourself to be human and move on?
I have a real poker face like that. I'm in a band with a guy that doesn't. Like if something goes wrong, he'll go like. Like he'll throw his arms up and make this face. And
that's so bad.
Right. And what inevitably what happens is I experience the same mistake that happened, but I'm just like, same face I had before.
Yeah.
But he had the same. People go like, what was he so mad about? And you're like, exactly. Nobody fucking noticed. Yep. until you freaked out
Yeah.
because no one's dissecting each thing. They're just experiencing this joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I try to have my poker face on stage.
That's why you got to leave it all backstage when you go up there. You got to leave it.
Yeah, I like doing like a little prayer, or I remember one time Ronnie walked me through like a kind of little breathing moment that I could do when I prep. So those things have helped because nobody really trains you for that, or like what the proper kind of ritual is for yourself. You kind of have to make
You
that.
don't know though until
Yeah.
you do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, some guys like oh, I smoke a cigarette and scream in the hallway.
Yeah.
like there's real guys that do. Like that's how they warm up.
I can't.
And then there's the people with their tapes and the me
Yeah.
me. I can't do that either. But I do have like a warm up thing. A lot of times I just sing.
Yeah,
I sing along with stuff I like to sing.
yeah. I take a shot or two.
Yeah.
Before a big show, yeah, I'll do that. All right, before our South by show this year, I think it was our first South by show. Leslie and I were headed there with Nick, and we're in the car, and I'm in the back seat, they're in the front, and I'm like, woo,
Yeah.
starting my vocal exercises, and they're like, Sheila, I love you, but shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
please don't start that shit here.
That happens with people I date, and then eventually they're like, "Oh, I'll come to the gig with you," and I'm like, "Okay." So I'm driving, and I'm like, they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
This is what it opens my voice up so I can see.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it looks real pretty on
Yeah.
stage. It looks
Yeah,
pretty, but
There-
behind the scenes,
It's not pretty. There's like a guy like making like Gollum noises.
gargling and
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
it's the faces too that you have to make to like open yourself up. It's just
How did you and Nelson connect? From
Through-
Como Las Movies.
through Alex Vallejo.
Uh-huh.
So Alex reached out to me.
Oh, okay. Because they did that song with him.
Yeah. I think Alex and a few other people have been working with Nelson for a
Omar.
while. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So I was just, got an email from Alex one day like, hey, I think you might like this song that this band I know is making. And, if you're not interested, that's totally fine. But if you are, like, I would love to connect you guys. And I was like, okay. And I had just been listening to, like, Bad Bunny's album and the Marias on some of his tracks. And then I forget what other track. There's another group on. The Latinos are going to eat me up. But it was like those more alternative tracks on his album that he like collaborated with them on. And I was like, oh, I would love to do something more like Latin alternative than what my stuff is. And, Nelson Como Las Movies is like psychedelic cumbia. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. So...
Isn't that funny that like psychedelic cumbia is something that if you're in Miami and you're like, oh, there's psychedelic cumbia, people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what people were like when I was there. I was like, dude, you don't even understand. Like half the bands, like the Latino bands and all, half of them are
Yeah.
psychedelic cumbia bands.
Yeah, and it's so cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I
It's
love
the
it.
coolest. It is. Did you? Sorry, I'm gonna start freaking out.
You're fine.
No, I love. Did you see Adrian Quesada?
No, I haven't.
Shit,
I've heard of him and I've never seen him.
I watched it on Hulu last week
Oh, really?
or on Saturday.
Yeah, because
they were at
ACL's
the
working
festival.
with Hulu.
Yeah.
no? Yeah.
Oh man, that's my favorite record of the year. It
Okay.
is. It really is. It's
Okay.
unbelievable. Boleros Psicodelicos.
Bolero Psicodelicos. Yeah, I saw that article that came out, and I was looking through all the artists, the locals that were going to be on there, and I saw a little bit of it.
I feel like that was the #1 Latin record at the beginning of the summer.
Hell yeah.
I think for most of June.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't even know where they get charts from anymore.
Billboard. I mean, that's the
I
only
know,
one
but what
that
does Billboard say? Like, are they doing sales? Because if people sell like 26 albums and they're like they're #1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's a bunch of different metrics. They were going over it at the conference.
I find that the Shazam one seems to be to me, that seems like people are engaging with you. Like that to me seems like it might not have the numbers, but if you have high numbers, that means that there's people seeking out your stuff.
Like Shazam has its own charts? Or
I think there's a Shazam chart and stuff. And I think some charts actually factor Shazam in. They do. There is a Shazam chart.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes so much sense, though, because it's something where you're
That's
like...
how many people are looking for you.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I really like this song.
Exactly.
I need to know who it is.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. How do you, I mean, what is your, are you on your own out there? Is that what's going on?
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Like you don't have a manager, a booking agent, all this stuff
Oh.
you do yourself.
I have not had a manager or booking agent or any help. I had a manager for a little bit, like right at the beginning of my career with the first EP. That's no longer available. And then after that, I mean, I learned a lot with that, but I don't think it was, I think I realized that it wasn't the right fit. And I kind of just peacefully like said my goodbyes, and I was like, hey, I love you guys, but this is not like,
Right.
I don't want to be on a lineup with like 5 rappers, 10 rappers and be the only singer.
Right. Are you looking for, I mean, obviously you are, but like, are you actively looking for some kind of team to put together in Miami? Is there like,
Yeah.
you want to do tours and?
I do. I want to go mainstream. I want to do tours. I want to be Kali Uchis level and then Karol G level. That's my dream. And so that's the main reason that I moved to Miami, is because it has the industry there that Austin doesn't have, for my genre specifically, like Latin pop.
Right.
Because, I mean, we have Latin music. We were just talking about it. Psychedelic cumbia. We have Tejano music. But if you're not doing Tejano in Texas, there's not really an industry for you.
Yeah. Do you think that there should be a lot of industry in Austin? Because I have this talk with people all the time, and I'm always like, I really don't think it doesn't work here, first of all. Lots of labels have come here and set
Really?
up offices, and they've left.
Why do you think it hasn't worked?
Because it's not that kind of town. It's not, it's Adrian's, the way, like Black Pumas, like their thing, that's, I feel like that's the model if you want to be out there and mainstream and Grammy nominated and playing all the festivals and stuff. I believe you can live here and work on your stuff here, and it's a great place to live and work on your stuff. But that's because there's not a lot of industry here.
Yeah, I think it can
Right?
it can be a base.
Right.
But if you want to reach those levels, you have to go to LA or Miami or New York.
And Austin, like, as much as people want that to happen, it would lose all of its Austenness
Yeah.
if people were looking over their shoulder at every gig they played. Not, I mean,
I
there's
get
a
that.
certain amount of like figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like you were able to figure it out here without having the eyes of the industry on you, and now you went to Miami when you got your shit together and you're ready for the eyes.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't think of it as like a farm club town as much, but it is. I mean, it's like a place where you get your shit together, and it's really cool.
I love Austin.
Yeah, it supports that.
Yeah.
Like the whole infrastructure supports Austin Music Foundation, Sims. Like here, we'll give you mental health stuff so that you can get ready to go out and take on the world. You know.
Yeah, no, I love the network and the community that you have here in Austin. I think if we were to have industry, just like a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Not like Miami, because
No.
Miami.
But Miami doesn't have you can't just go
doesn't have
play a
the-
gig in Miami.
Yeah, it isn't. What I've found is it's not the same kind of community, or it's taken me a little bit longer to find that. And recently, I've found like some more local artists that I've been hanging out with.
But that's not really what that scene's about.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's about the the glam, the fashion, the look, the
Right.
what's next, and it's because it's a machine.
Yeah.
Also, with that, the hustle out there is completely different. The hustle in
Of course,
Miami
yeah.
is. I thought I was hustling here in Austin, and I remember like Victor, my engineer, he works at Orb, and they get artists in from everywhere, and he would tell me sometimes, like, yeah, I mean, people hustle different. Like, Austin is a little bit lazy sometimes,
Oh, it's very.
And I was like, what? I feel like I'm hustling. And then I got to Miami, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now it's time for me to actually like step my game up
It's like
more.
people go to the grocery store and they're like, I've been adulting today. Like, dude, you went to the fucking grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And it's like, no, man. Like, before Billboard Week, I was waking up at like 5:30, 6 a.m. every day that week. I was pushing myself to wake up earlier and earlier to go to the gym and then have time to like do my 2 or 3 jobs that I have, because I'm like part-time freelancing a couple different things, and then have time to work on music, and then have time to do this, and like try to journal and be a healthy human being and all of this stuff. And I don't feel like I've ever been as focused as I've been right now.
That's good.
Even during ACL, like, I mean, I was super focused during ACL, but like still it was different. It was different.
Yeah. Do you get a pass for the whole weekend when you perform with Como Las Movies, or just the day?
The weekend.
You're going to go the whole weekend?
I probably won't go Friday because I don't want to lose my voice again.
Right, yeah.
If anything, I'll go see. I forget who's playing Friday, but I'll go see a show. And it sucks because it's like
I know.
I have to network. I have to go talk to these people. I have to take advantage because it's not every weekend you're in a festival around agents and managers and people like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm actively seeking management and booking and everything.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's like my primary focus has to be the performance, and people are coming to see me and coming to see Como las movies, and I want to put my best foot forward. So
Yeah. Being on tour as a singer sucks like that because there's like, you can go out a couple times, but you can't really go out like the rest of the guys can all the time. You go back to my hotel and just sit there and watch
your
Nick
tea.
at Night.
Nick at Night.
It's so sad.
Oh,
it's so boring. Like a
speaking of-
sandwich.
I met Ali and AJ last weekend, the Disney stars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Quentin was a huge fan, and we met them at the same time, and I like filmed their moment meeting them, and he was just like, "Oh my god, I'm unworthy."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What did you do at the Latin Billboard Awards? Did you just go there and hang out? Or what was it?
I went there to network
Okay.
and to learn about the industry and be around, the movers and shakers in the industry. So it was a week-long conference, and the first 3 or 4 days was just like from 9 to 10 a.m. until like 4 or 5 p.m. It was like interviews, interviewing artists, industry heads, teams, talking about publishing, talking about how the charts work, how you can submit. All of this stuff. I learned a ton, and it was cool because it was like, I've never been to an event like that where it's specifically Latin music.
Yeah.
And everyone speaks Spanish and English mostly, pero like the guests would be on there and they would all interchange between Spanish and English, y después preguntaban como que, español o inglés, ¿cuál quieren? Y todo el mundo, español, habla de español. And it was just so fun. And I think, I saw Maluma there. I saw Manuel Turizo. I saw, people from Bad Bunny's team, from Rimas were there. And Kali Uchis' songwriter was there. Like, everyone who's everyone, I felt like was there. And just being in the same room as those people and seeing how humble a lot of them are, and how similar their stories or their fears are to what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
And literally being less than 50 feet away from them in the same room,
Yeah.
it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. And
Yeah.
like, it's like right there,
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure what was going to come from it. I didn't have a plan, but I met a lot of people, and I hope, that I planted some seeds.
Sure you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you go back to after ACL, you go back to Miami, just back to the grind.
Back to the grind.
You work you have Coraza coming out on November 11th this year.
Yep.
And Café, of course, drops on Friday. That's your Como las Movies featuring Shiela. They've changed their sound, those guys.
They have?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more synthy and like...
Nice. I wasn't really familiar with their
Yeah.
music before they reached out to me, so I really like what they're doing now.
Yeah.
It's nice. And Nelson's like the nicest sweetest
guy,
guy
yeah.
ever. And everyone always like I introduced my friend Nick, my production manager, to Nelson yesterday at rehearsal, and he's like, "Man, that guy's so nice.
He's so nice.
It's just like old school happy energy."
Yeah. And it's funny, like, did you talk to him about, like, I talked to him, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just going to DJ now. I don't really like this."
He says he's going to DJ?
That's what he was doing, and then all of a sudden, like, all this great stuff started happening for them.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay, well, I guess we'll do it."
Yeah. And he just came off a format. I was asking him how that went, and yeah, he's excited.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were about to do that when I talked to him. So are you going to do some performances? I mean, what's that area in Miami where stuff, Wynwood? Wynwood.
Yeah. I had my first show in Miami last month now, I think, a few weeks ago.
How's that?
It was fun. It was at a reggae spot, and my friends had like a residency there, and so they invited me to come play, and like the format was they invited several artists to come play their songs.
Oh, cool.
But they had their reggae band backing them. So we did like a reggae version of Soltera.
Oh, cool.
And it was just incredible because, I mean, it's in Miami and everybody knows Spanish, and you're singing this Spanish song, and the hook is so catchy. The soltera mi manera,
Yeah.
sincera mi manera. And so at the end of the song, it's a short song, so at the end we kind of like extended the chorus to keep going, and everyone was just like singing it by the end of it, and it was such good energy, and I think it was a lot of fun.
Well, we talk all the time with Austin Music Foundation stuff. Let me know next time you're playing there, because I'll send like my siblings and stuff to go out and see you, because I'm sure they would. I was telling my sister today, we were talking, I was like, oh, I have this podcast. I was like, I told her that I was like, this girl that I work with lives out here now.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, I think my friend Sheila's out here. I'd like to connect with her, and like everyone in my family is like somebody that you hang out with in Austin is who you're going to see when you're here. Like, I've been here in like 4 years.
I remember you told me, you're like, I'm going to town, and I was like, okay, let me know. And then
I can't let you know, man.
Yeah. That's what happens. And that's kind of the culture of Miami too. It was like, you can say you're going to meet somebody, but a lot of people are flaky. And
Right.
so at first I was getting my feelings hurt, and then now I'm like, okay.
What part of town are you in?
I'm Southwest,
Okay.
Kendall.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so a little bit from the city, but it's nice. I eventually would like to move closer, maybe like Coconut Grove area.
My brother's moving back. He's got a place in Coconut Grove. He's moving back.
Yeah?
He was living in Boca Raton. That's where I was for part of the time.
That's more north, no?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like an hour,
Yeah.
15 minutes north.
So yeah, I would like to move closer, but not too close, because it's loud, and I don't like, I want to record my music in my house, and I don't want to be around honking people all day downtown.
Is the Grove still hopping, like on the weekends? Hopping. Looks like I'm definitely in my 50s. Hey, is that place still hopping? Boy, it was going gangbusters in the 80s.
Oh my God. I've only been there a couple of times, and it's been more for like brunch stuff. I've never gone out there like on a weekend downtown.
Have you found some good Cuban places?
Cuban, I really love just like the rinconcitos that are by my house.
Yeah.
Oh man, the coffee. I'm so spoiled now. The Cuban coffee. And you know what? Like, I'm sorry because I'm Mexican and I'm Nicaraguan, but like Cuban coffee.
Yeah, they've got the coffee thing together.
They got that down.
Everyone's got something going on.
Yeah, and
You know?
Nicaragua, we have our fritanga, and that's cute, that's good. We have our nacatamales, like in the wintertime, like holidays.
Don't they grow beans there, though? I mean,
Where?
In Nicaragua?
Coffee beans? Yeah. No, we have a huge coffee industry, but personally, I like Cuban coffee more.
Well, it's the roast. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can grow the Nicaraguan beans and then roast them espresso style.
True.
What do you drink, Bustelo?
Yeah.
That's what I drink, too.
I drink Bustelo.
Yeah.
I literally bought some when I got here because, I went and like got my groceries since I'm here for a couple weeks, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to be spending money going out every day. I want to eat
Do you have
healthy.
a roommate or something out there?
Out there? No, I'm staying with my dad right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I've been very
It's
grounded.
expensive as shit to live out there.
Yeah, no. If he wasn't out there, I don't think I would be able to do any of this right now. Yeah.
My sister has a place that she just got, and it's like it's in South. It's
It's
kind of
insane.
Southwest. Yes, it's insane.
It's insane. Like, I think my friend, she just got a 2-bed, 2-bath with a roommate, and each of them are paying $1,700.
Jesus Christ, dude. Where are they? In a good part of town? Cool part of
Yeah,
town?
I think they're in a good part of town, but that's still like on the low end.
Yeah.
Like, 2,000, 2,200 is not unheard of for that. Yeah,
It's
and
insane.
She's like, because she was one of my first friends that I made out there, and she was like, yeah, like, do you think you'll be moving out, on your own soon? Like, I'll be looking for a roommate. And I was like, man, girl, I really love hanging out with you, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
that $1,700 a month rent right now is a little out of my budget.
Yeah.
Because I have to dedicate all that to my projects, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I don't have a label. I don't have funding or financing. So,
You're about to release a record and stuff.
yeah, all of it adds up.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So, but we're doing it until we get the support. And I think it's coming.
I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, I really do believe in you as an artist. Your performances that I watched were really awesome and fun. You can dance, you can
Thanks.
sing, you can write.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's right there. I think being at ACO last weekend made me realize there's more eyes on me than I thought. So,
How old are you?
26.
26. Do you ever get like a ticking? Because I mean, I had a thing like, if I don't make it by the time I'm 30, I'm out of here. It's fucking stupid, man.
Yeah, well, when I started at 19, I told myself I'd give myself 5 years. And now I'm a little past.
5 years to what? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
to what?
to make it. But then I had ACL at the end of those 5 years. So I was like, oh shit, like I
Exactly,
actually
right.
made my dream a reality.
Right.
And it's kind of like, trust me, I mean, I think about giving up all the time and just like, I don't know.
You know what's
Like-
there's somebody like my dad that's not like a creative person that would listen to what you just said and go like, wait a minute. So she gave herself a 5-year plan, and her goal that kept her going after the 5 years was working for a whole year to play a 30-minute set that she won't even remember when she's done.
That's probably what he said.
That probably ended up costing you a couple $1,000s,
Oh.
like in the reality of the whole fucking thing.
No, it cost me more than what we got paid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why
Like-
those people have to tour, like, you know.
Yeah, and no,
It's
I
big
mean,
production in pop, you know, you got to pay out a lot going into it.
yeah, no, even coming down right now, my dad was like, why are you going back to Texas? You know? And I was like, because Dad, I'm performing at ACL.
Yes.
And he's just like, oh, okay. Like,
You can watch it on Hulu. Like, that's pretty badass.
yeah, but they don't understand, you know? Like, they want to and they try to be supportive, and that's cool, but they'll never really understand. And so, yeah, those 5 years has passed. I made my dream a reality. And so when I feel like giving up, every time I feel like giving up, there's this like photo that I saw one time on the newspaper or something, and it was like this guy, this miner, this like diamond miner, and it was him like with the dirt right before he got to the lump of diamonds, and then he like gave up and he turned around.
Yeah.
And every time I think of giving up, I don't even know why, I just think of that, and I'm like, I swear to God, if I was like right around the corner of my diamonds, I would be so pissed off.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I just get so pissed that I keep going.
That's the thing about having a dream. Like, I can't even be friends with people that don't have a dream.
Yeah.
Even if it's like just to redecorate your living room. Like, just have some dream.
It's hard. It's hard. And that's
Yeah.
what makes dating hard too, because it's like I will go out
Oh,
on
God.
dates with guys and they're like, oh, so like if you weren't doing music, what would you
Right.
be doing? And it's like, what do you mean?
There's always, it seems like when you're dating someone, the first thing they want to know is like, okay, how long is this going to be? Like, is this
Yeah.
going to end soon? Is this going to be a thing that I have to deal with all the time?
Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? What else would I be doing? I'm sorry, you're not in a career that you don't really love. Like,
Yeah.
I chose to do what I love and I'm
Right.
doing well at it. And I don't have to think about what I would be doing otherwise.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I couldn't do anyone who doesn't have a dream either.
Yeah.
No.
I have to say, I'm really proud of you and all of your, like, you've really just grown so much artistically.
Thank you.
And this Soltera single is great. That Chilita album is fantastic, man. It's fucking great.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, and Estás Mal, all the singles you have out, all of the videos I enjoyed on TikTok. I kind of said, man, TikTok makes me feel so old.
Why?
I made one video of my dog and posted. I just can't. I feel like I'm gonna go on there. And people are gonna be like, hey, man, no. Go back to Facebook.
Go back to Facebook.
Do a Facebook Live, man.
Do a
Lots of old
Facebook
people are waiting for you.
No, I think it's fun. It took me a second to learn it too, but I like that it's a little less like serious. You know, like you can
Well, you
make.
seem really natural doing it. I
Oh,
don't
thanks.
feel uncomfortable for you.
Okay,
You know
thank
what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like you can get away with saying some stuff that you wouldn't be able to get away with on like Instagram or Facebook, and like
Yeah.
just like jokes or whatever. Like people are not. That's 2 seconds of their day.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, they can just scroll.
The song Café with Como Las Movies featuring Shiela drops Friday, October 14th. Como Las Movies featuring a special performance by Shiela takes place at 2022 Austin City Limits Music Festival, Saturday, October 15th. That's this coming Saturday at 12:45 p.m. on the Honda stage.
On the Honda stage. Can you believe
Which
that?
one is that's the big stage?
It's one of the
Is
biggest.
it?
It's like the second biggest
Oh,
behind American
shit.
Express. It's I did Tito stage last year, and this
That
is
stage
like,
is cool. That's the one that Quentin played on, right?
Yeah. That stage is really cool.
cool.
I love
Yeah.
it. But Honda's like, I'm like, what are we gonna do with that much space? I walked by it at ACL last weekend, and I was like, I got nervous.
You know what you're going to wear already? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we finalized it last night because Nelson was like, oh, I mean, you know,
Because you're going to match with
Yeah.
them in some way.
I made sure
Yeah.
because Nelson's so busy with everything else.
Right, these guys might show up in
Yeah.
shorts and sandals and shit.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I just haven't really had time to think about it. And me, you know, Latina coming from like the pop world, I'm like, what do you mean you haven't had time to think
Yeah,
about
exactly. What's wrong with you? What's going on here?
it? I'm like, that should be like step 2. So no, we got our outfits finalized. We're going to have some cute little vibes going on. We're going to bring the dancers back for the last song.
Fantastic.
So it's going to be so fun. I'm really, really excited. And I'm glad to be keeping it in the family and back there again. Rosalia, well, actually in 2019, she performed on Honda Stage, and her performance was like one of the first times where I was like, I can do this. And her performance inspired a lot of my performance last year. And then now that we get to perform on the same stage, it's just really validating.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, congratulations. People can find you and all your stuff at Shiela, not Sela. Shiela Music.
Yes. SHIELA.
Is that's not the, is it?
That's not the proper spelling, but that's the way my name is spelled, yeah.
All right. It's great talking to you.
You too. Thank you so
I spelled
much.
it right in my notes.
Nice. Love it. Thank you.
Great talking to you.
Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Gang, that's Shiela. Check out the rest of her music. That's her single Soltera that you're hearing there. And the music video is absolutely fantastic. Go to ShielaMusic.com. See her performing with Como Las Movies this Saturday, October 15th at 12:45 on the Honda Stage at Austin City Limits Music Festival, along with our good friends Como Las Movies, who are also on the show. Their song Café, their collaboration, drops this Friday, October 14th, which is coincidentally my birthday. Y'all might want to wish me a happy birthday. All right. I want to thank Shiela for doing the show. I want to thank Nelson and Dylan for doing the show. Get out there if you're out at if you're out at ACL Festival this weekend. Get out there and see them. And hey, gang, don't forget when you're out there finding these bands on Spotify. You know we're on Spotify. How Did I Get Here is on Spotify. You can follow us on there. You can listen to us and find out every time a new show drops. Sometimes there's 3 shows a week, but every Tuesday and every Friday for sure. Okay, gang. Thanks so much. Follow us, like us, share the shows. Thank you, Shiela. Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, Dylan. Have a great, great rest of the week. I will see you on Friday where I'll be talking to amazing new artist, Wes Denzel. Let's get down.
I carry my own peace if I want to. Slide through, I want you. Le position magnifique, make you never wanna leave after I'm through. Buena soltera, malas son ellas. Las que se vuelvan ciegas, solo con promesas bellas. Soy la princesa, una coqueta. Diamante en mi muñeca y nunca pago la cuenta. Soltera, mi manera. Sin pena, mi manera. 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 Body, I'ma let him take me for a ride in the Audi. And you know we better have me classy. Sipping on Don Julio is how I get nasty. ¿Dónde están los tragos? Dale papi, vamos. Te quiero ver en rodilla al lado de tu hermano. Solo por un ratito, como dijo Benito. Haz lo que te diga y te lo pasarás bonito. Soltera, mi manera. Sin pena, mi manera. Soltera.